Hi, it's Ellen Dudley from Keller Williams Realty. I am here with another episode of Real Estate Connections. Today I am speaking with Bryna Klevan from Klevan Law Offices in Newton. Bryna is a family law attorney and her slogan is for better or worse, helping people through marriage and divorce. Hi, Bryna.
Good morning, Ellen. Thank you for having me today.
My pleasure. Thank you for being here. So I love your slogan, and I would love to talk about the marriage side of your job. You know, everyone calls family law attorneys divorce attorneys, but you have brought marriage into the equation, and I'd love to know how you help people with marriage.
This is the fun part of my practice. When people come in, they're all excited about getting married, and they are coming in looking to find out about what a prenuptial agreement is. One of two ways that they've come to me. One of the parties about to be married is the one needing the prenup because somebody in their family has recommended it to them, or one of their friends said, you need to get a prenuptial agreement, or their accountant has recommended it, or it's the spouse to be the fiance said, gee, I really would like to have us enter into a prenuptial agreement before we get married. So they end up in my office wanting to know what a prenuptial agreement is and what that is. And what I usually say to them is, look, you're getting married, and your marriage, not to be morbid about it, is going to end in one of two ways, either by death or divorce. So we can have an agreement, address what happens in the event of a death or in the event of divorce, or address both of those issues. State law, or wherever they happen to be at the time of those events, will be the law in place. But the law recognizes that husband and wife, or wife and wife, or husband and husband have the freedom to enter into a contract, provided that their factors are met, that they're both fairly represented, that they both have the full disclosure of each other's assets and liabilities, and are both aware of what the situation and what the rights are that they're waiving of what the law would have otherwise provided for each of them.
Okay, so when they come to you, they're coming to learn about prenups, and how are those conversations generally, how do those go?
So usually, first of all, it's only one of them, because I can only represent one of the parties to the prenuptial agreement. It would be unethical for a lawyer to represent both parties to a prenuptial agreement. They each need to have independent counsel in order for the agreement to be a valid, enforceable document. A lot of times people are curious as to why. Well, both of our interests are in alignment. We both want this agreement, so I don't understand why you can't just write it up for both of us. And, and everyone going into a marriage wants to save money. They want to be, they're very cost conscious. They much prefer to spend the money on the flowers or the wine or the champagne than on lawyers, because it's like anything in life, why pay the lawyers when you can have it on real fun things? But I always say, penny wise and pound foolish, this is a document that they really want to make sure that is enforceable, if this is a document that they want to have. So I go through a list of items with them as to what a prenuptial agreement can do, what it can address, and talk about some of the things in what may or may not come up in the context of their marital relationship. I often try to put them at ease and say, congratulate them for the first step in coming into my office, because making that phone call is always often one of the most anxiety producing phone calls that they have to make the appointment with the family law attorney. Secondly, I always say, people getting married will often talk about where they're going to put their couch in the living room and where they're going to have dinner more often and more frequently than they talk about where and how they're going to manage their finances. And yet the finances in their marital relationship is much more important in the long term than how they're going to decorate their homes or what food they're going to eat. Because when things go wrong in a marriage, it's oftentimes about the money, and it's the state that's going to be controlling how the money is going to be worked out in the end. And isn't it much more important for the parties or the couple getting married to be able to control their own destiny rather than to leave it in the hands of the court or the state laws to determine that? So that's somewhat reassuring to them, and giving them the power to see, to take the power and take dominion over their own destiny. So that's always reassuring to them. Once we go through that, there are a series of questions. I hand out a questionnaire asking them, for example, what they feel about what their feelings are in terms of having separate accounts during their marriage, whether they want to have all of their assets be combined after the marriage, whether they want to protect only the premarital assets or only the premarital inheritance or only postmarital inheritance or any gifts coming in from their relatives. And really each agreement can address each individual set of circumstances.
Do you find that your clients are surprised and have not discussed many of the questions on your questionnaire with their future spouse?
It's about 50-50. It depends on how their age is. I mean, I think the younger clients who are getting married for the first time, this is eye-opening, and it's sort of like, I call it marriage 411. It's sort of like education for them in terms of, I call it divorce prevention, how to prevent coming back into my office as a divorce client, because communication is the keystone of a successful relationship. And really, if they can communicate about their finances and communicate about how they're going to divide up their responsibilities in their relationship before they even get married, there's that much greater chance for success to prevent their chances of getting divorced down the road. And the people who are coming in for prenuptial agreements for subsequent marriages, they pretty much have gone through them. You know, they've gone through it before, so they pretty much know. But it's also a really good reminder to just have these questions be asked again.
I'm just curious, for first-time marriages, what percentage would you guesstimate actually go through the prenuptial process?
So with the millennials, I think that they have this concept that it is one of the items on their to-do list to get married. They feel that it's something that they just want to have because it's one of those things that you just need to have. So I think that our younger generation is much more educated with respect to what they need to do in order to protect themselves from the court system. I don't know if that's because they have seen all of the messy divorces that are in our media these days, or just seeing that, you know, maybe their parents or their friends or what they were seeing out there, they just want to prevent that messy divorce if in the event they find themselves in those shoes.
Interesting. And I was also wondering, if an engagement breaks up, who keeps the ring?
That's a really interesting question. And I know that you guys are going to hate this answer, but as a lawyer often says, it depends. It depends on the circumstances. For example, it depends on what the reason is for the broken engagement. It depends on who broke off the engagement. So for example, if I proposed to my intended spouse and gave a $10,000 ring to her, and she decides to fall in love with somebody else and break off the engagement, pretty good chance that I'm going to get that ring back. But if I give the ring and then decide, no, I just, don't want to get married, pretty good chance that she's going to keep the ring. So those are, those are really, it's all about equity, and whether the ring itself is a conditional gift, and the condition being that the marriage is actually consummated.
But it's probably a very small price to pay rather than marrying the wrong person, right?
Oh, absolutely. A divorce is very expensive. They say love is grand, but divorce is 50 grand. And yeah, so definitely much less expensive to let him or her keep the ring.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. Well, do you have anything else to add about how you help marriages? We can talk about divorce another time, but anything
Absolutely.
else people should know?
I think marriage is fun. Marriage is great. I have a lot of clients who go through divorce and they think they're never going to get married again. I can just tell you, as one who is in chapter 2, my husband and I had a prenuptial agreement. It was fun going through it, and it brings that. It's just a chance for you to really talk about the importance of what you are going to be addressing in your new relationship, and how you're going to manage your finances, and how you're going to handle things through in your new relationship. And for first timers, it's really important. Like I said, it's divorce prevention. People who are about to enter into the most important financial decision and important emotional relationship, just even coming in for the consult to see what a prenup is a good investment in making a really important decision in your life.
Okay, terrific.
For better or worse, and hopefully for the better.
Sounds good. Sounds like it's an insurance policy, really. Sounds
Indeed.
like something at least people should consider and talk about. It opens a lot of conversations, which they may or may not be having.
And at the end, when you sign your prenup, you can do a l'chaim. I have a little scotch or a little vodka.
You keep that in your office. Nice.
Exactly. If it's not a virtual signing, exactly. Back in the day.
Right, right. Okay, Bryna, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it, and I will speak with you soon.
Good to see you, Ellen. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.